We've had days of hot highs, including today, but monsoonal moisture back in the forecast with slightly cooler temperatures into tomorrow.
On these hot summer days, it's a good reminder to not leave your kids or pets inside cars. I'm going to demonstrate just how long it takes for temperatures to turn deadly.
The Thorn fire continues to burn out into East County. We're live with a look at conditions, and we spoke to those who had to evacuate.
What happens next to the man accused of hitting and killing a 12-year-old girl in an Encinitas crosswalk?
The search continues today for the missing Oceanside woman. We have the latest updates from Oceanside PD.
San Diego Pride is just 2 days away. Tips from police on how to stay safe.
We begin tonight with a live look over Del Mar as some San Diegans flock to the coast for relief from the heat. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Shanna Handy in tonight for Marcella Lee.
A quick note, CBS News will be covering President Trump's speech tonight. They'll be taking over in a moment. We'll be here when it's over.
Meantime, the high heat and humidity are leading to today's weather impact alert. Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis joins us now with a first look at what you need to know. Look, that is, Carlene, not lurk. Look.
The heat's lurking.
It is. Yeah, no, it was lurking for today, but we are talking about temperatures back to seasonal by tomorrow. So still with the heat alerts across the county, but they're set to expire in less than 2 hours. So you have the heat advisory right there along the coast. We had daytime highs today that were in the low to mid 80s. Inland, you had 90s still going strong, 80s and upper 90s. That was for the mountains, and up to 112 when it came to heat for the desert for today. Extreme heat warnings inland. Everything is going to expire at 8 p.m. tonight. When we look at our temperatures backing away from our heat of earlier today, we have 99 degrees for Borrego Springs. You're also looking at 80s popping up for Escondido as well as for Ramona. 83 degrees right now for Mira Mesa, and you have those 70s right there along the coast. High pressure, that has been our main weather maker. Big area of high pressure. We've had a couple of areas of high pressure creating this heat dome that's been impacting us as well as much of the country, and still dealing with some of those hot temperatures across the Great Plains and stretching in towards the Midwest as well. That high pressure system has also tapped into some monsoonal moisture, so that has been in our forecast over the last few days. We had a little less of it yesterday across inland areas. We still had some cumulus clouds that were building out there, but we didn't have any showers or thunderstorms. That was not the case today, as we did have an influx of moisture that brought in some showers and thunderstorms, even a cell near Julian that was nearly stationary, but that has wrapped up, and the alerts that we had as far as flood advisories were actually canceled early by the National Weather Service since things have calmed down. We'll take a look at your complete forecast and just how hot it's going to be tomorrow coming up. Shannon.
Thanks, Carlene. You can find more ways to stay safe from extreme heat, as well as tips to keep your AC working without breaking the bank. That's all on our CBSA app. Stream now for free.
The Thorn fire continues to smolder near Boulevard. It started yesterday afternoon and has since burned about 1,200 acres. The good news, forward progress has been stopped, and just moments ago we learned the fire is 45% contained, up from 10%.
But the fire is still burning tonight. News 8's Alex Cheney joins us live with an update. Alex?
Yeah, that's right. Still smoldering out here. We are in the Live Oak Springs area. This is actually where the Thorn fire started. Firemen told me that just earlier. You can take a look here. This is absolutely just torn up. So this is a lot of brush that's been on fire. I was told that there were just high walls of flames, and you can see the water line here goes all the way to those houses over there in the corner. I spoke to lots of people today. I spoke to a couple who live on the other side of this hill who, at least this afternoon, were not able to return home. Here's more. This is what the burn scar, the Thorn fire, looks like as we drove around today. We saw field after field of burnt out brush moving close to homes. Still, several firemen out there putting out hot spots.
I was very scared. My heart was blah, 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 blah.
I spoke to a couple today who lives in a trailer on the hill of Live Oak Springs and almost lost their property until the flames moved the other way. Now they're still waiting to go home.
I feel iffy because there's fire over there that was smoldering all night, and it's still smoking. And it looks like it wants to flare up again. They dropped water on it twice this morning. They got crews out there, so we just hope for the best.
Oh, good. I mean, we're still alive, and our dogs are alive, so it's good.
We are here healthy and safe.
Down the hill, I met the Sanchez family. They were forced to evacuate yesterday as the flames crept closer to their home.
You want to ride the moto?
They were let back in around 11 o'clock last night.
They were freaking out. You know, we try to keep it calm, but at the same time, we're trying to get things together. Especially, like I said, my dad just had surgery, so we're like, he can't lift, so we got to do what he can do, you know? So it was pretty intense having to get it all kids calm and situated, and at the same time having to get the most important things out.
Sarah, her dad Enrique, and her children all live at the house. Enrique is grateful to firefighters for saving his home.
I have insurance and everything, but I had no place to go. I had no place to go. This is the only place.
So you met Sarah just earlier. She's just an example of the community effort here. She was going around passing out burritos and water to all the firemen out here. We went to the convenience store about 2 blocks down. Everybody who was there talking to each other, concerned, hey, how can I help you? What do you need? We also learned in the last few minutes that some of those evacuation warnings have been lowered to evacuation orders. Go on the Genesis app to see if it's near your house. Certainly also a great reminder as we are in the middle of fire season here in summertime to be prepared, to be ready to go if fire moves near your home. Reporting live, I'm Alex Cheney. Back over to you.
Amazing job by those firefighters. Thanks, Alex. Another delay tonight in the case involving a 12-year-old Encinitas girl killed in a crosswalk last year. Eddie Sengendo has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him in the case, and now he is asking a judge to throw out the case altogether.
But as News 8's Abby Black shares, the girl's family is pleading for accountability.
Dozens of supporters showed up here to the Vista courthouse expecting to plead for a tougher sentence against the man accused of killing a 12-year-old girl. Tonight, we hear the pleas for justice and the plea to bring this case to an end.
I miss her. I miss those times. I miss having a daughter.
John and Bridget Chalakian are left with only memories of their 12-year-old daughter, Emery, hit and killed while legally walking in an Encinitas crosswalk.
The lack of accountability for somebody who ran a red light and killed my daughter has brought us into court for the last 8 months.
Emery died in April 2025. Driver Eddie Sengendo wasn't charged until November and pled not guilty to misdemeanor vehicular manslaughter. Today was our first look at him.
Deny any and all allegations.
His attorney had appeared for him at arraignment.
We're tired. We just want to grieve the loss of our daughter. We want to give our community some peace. And it is so emotionally challenging preparing for these days and then being let down by our system repeatedly. We've had 7 judges so far.
Today, supporters packed the courtroom in yellow, Emery's favorite color, ready to give victim impact statements, but the judge recused himself, leaving the family to come back again.
It's a letdown.
It is not working.
It's insulting.
Sengendo declined to speak with us. His attorney tells us that they're asking the court for a diversion program that could let him avoid conviction if he completes requirements like community service and a traffic safety course over the next 1 to 2 years. The case could be dismissed.
What does accountability look like? Courage. Help this country make change.
I think it's becoming a voice for Emery and other victims of traffic violence and advocating for pedestrian safety.
Regardless of the judicial outcome, the family and their supporters say they'll continue to honor Emery and advocate for safer streets.
But we'll go on. My wife, my son, and I will honor her every day.
I spoke to the prosecutor and she tells me that she plans to oppose this diversion program and argue for a trial. If Sengendo is convicted, the maximum sentence that he could face is up to 1 year in county jail. The next court date is scheduled for July 31st. Reporting in Vista, Abby Black, News 8.
Thank you, Abby. An hours-long SWAT standoff in Normal Heights today ended with a landlord in custody accused of attacking his tenant with a baseball bat during an argument. Police were first called around 6:30 this morning to 35th Street near Monroe Avenue. The tenant, who rents a cottage behind the landlord's home, was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Officers spent hours trying to get the suspect to surrender peacefully. SWAT was eventually called in and detonated a concussion grenade on the property. The suspect eventually gave himself up shortly after. A man was stabbed and killed in downtown San Diego last night near Petco Park. Tonight, San Diego police are still looking for the killer. It happened off Park Boulevard and K Street. Despite life-saving efforts, the man, described as being in his late 20s, died at the scene. Investigators say it appears to be an isolated incident, and they ask anyone with information to please give them a call. And we have new information tonight on the Oceanside mother of 2 who went missing 10 days ago. Angelica Brophy was last seen at Harrah's Resort in Valley Center.
News 8's Alex Lai brings us an update from the Oceanside Police Department and details on their latest search.
We're here at Palomar State Park, where Angelica's husband found her car just 1 week ago. Today, her friends and family conducted a search out here. Unfortunately, they did not find Angelica. Their search was alongside more than 50 law enforcement officers, including a search and rescue team and the Oceanside Police Department, which is handling the investigation. OPD tells me search efforts included officers on foot, drones, canine teams, dive teams, and other specialized resources. To get some more insight into the investigation process, I spoke with private investigator Bill Garcia, who is not associated with Angelica's case, but is familiar with similar missing person instances. He says the repeated searches in different areas is an important part in finding essential information.
Having feet on the ground up there and doing searches, being actively involved, having media and law enforcement getting the word out to the public. This is all extremely helpful stuff. And it looks like it's gaining some ground, so that's a good thing.
We also received several new details regarding the investigation from the Oceanside Police Department today. They tell News 8 they are not releasing the surveillance video from Harrah's Resort, where Angelica was last seen 10 days ago. They are not providing information related to her cell phone, and her vehicle has been impounded by OPD. We'll have more insight from Bill and a deeper dive into the search efforts today coming up in my report at 9 and 11 p.m. Back to you.
Thanks, Alex. Local leaders say it's time to put public health before trade. They're urging federal officials to block any extension of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement unless it includes strong enforceable rules to stop cross-border pollution.
Healthy communities are the foundation of a healthy economy. And until that truth is reflected in the USMCA, it should not be extended.
County Supervisor Paloma Aguirre says the ongoing Tijuana River Valley sewage crisis is leaving South Bay communities with constant exposure to contaminated air and water. She argues that trade deals should not move forward unless they protect the border communities that help support economic growth. The plea comes as renegotiation discussions on the trade agreement are set to resume within the next week. Months after the San Diego Humane Society began caring for more than 700 animals from a Julian rescue site, more than 50 of those now have a new home.
We're told 54 horses are now at the Willow Glen Equestrian Center in El Cajon. Back in May, a judge transferred care of the animals to the Humane Society after a rescue operation at that sanctuary. The organization says it has received significant interest from those looking to adopt a horse. An important reminder tonight amid the high heat across the county.
Those details are still ahead. Plus, we're hearing from two fishermen recounting the moments they rushed to help save people from a deadly boating accident in San Francisco.
And what we are learning about a new exhibit opening soon at the Birch Aquarium after this.